And we are live on Facebook, folks. Andy here within South Florida and Mario Quintero with a one-stop shop happy hour Thursday. We are back in the studio today. After a great video last week on Thursday, I finally convinced this guy to get out on the road and go out in the wild and film on location. And man, we had a great time. Mario, that was a great video, man. You are a natural. You know, I've always been working with you here behind your desk with the comfort of your computer. I saw you in the field. Going out there and talking face to face with the inspectors, with the mechanics. Wow, Alejandro, man, that guy was very lucky, right? What happened? Did he finally close the deal?
So we ran into some turbulence, and today's show is going to be focused on different turbulences that we've hit over the last week, not only with Alejandro, but with other clients. So let's talk about the first turbulences that we hit with Alejandro. In that inspection, we had a serious termite problem. We had serious electrical problems with the panel. Some outdoor lighting that should really be designed for indoor lighting. The wiring was bad. A couple of toilets were completely leaking from underneath. So we had issues.
It was brutal, folks.
So we were able to, after reviewing the inspection reports and talking to both the termite inspector and the regular inspector, come up with an estimate of what those things were going to cost. And we made a counter offer to the sellers the next morning of a reduction of $8,500 in the purchase price of the home.
Wow. And
within 2 hours, they accepted. And we're moving forward. Now, tomorrow, we're getting the appraisal done because we, once again, want to make sure that we close this transaction by December 21st so that Alejandro can participate in the homestead exemption that he will need to file in January of 2019. So hopefully the appraisal will come in, everything will be fine, and we won't hit any additional turbulence. He's already been approved. We got minor conditions back on his loan, and we're just waiting for the appraisal to move forward to closing.
so Alejandro and his family are going to have a very happy Christmas, a very Merry Christmas.
They're really ecstatic at this point.
Yeah,
They're really happy. Yeah.
Folks, if you haven't seen that video, head over to Mario's Home News after you hear our broadcast, of course. Don't do it now. MariosHomeNews.com and check it out. It's there under his video gallery, along with tons of other videos of all these broadcasts where Mario Quintero shares his experience, his knowledge to make it easier for you to become a homeowner or an investor and purchase the home of your dreams. But enough about our friend Alejandro, man. Great for him. He's going to have a fantastic holiday. Mario, we got to do more of those live videos out on the field, following you around and talking to the people in the wild.
You're gonna have to put a fast pair of skates on, though.
Fast pair of skates. Hey, man, I haven't skated since I was a kid. I don't want to do that. But let's talk about a couple of topics this weekend. And it's December, and it's a happy month, but it seems that there's been a lot of turbulences in the industry, in the real estate market with your clients. What's this about unrecorded satisfaction of mortgages? Explain it to us in English.
So this past week, we've had a couple of situations where clients have failed to receive satisfaction of mortgages on prior mortgages that they had with other banks.
Okay.
So one of the things I want everybody to understand is that it's your responsibility to make sure that anytime you have a mortgage paid off, that you follow up with the parties that were involved, specifically the title company, to make sure that they record the satisfaction of mortgage on whatever mortgage that you're paying off, whether it's a line of credit, whether it's a first mortgage because you sold a house and you're moving on to a new house. You need to make sure that you get that satisfaction of mortgage within 30 to 45 days of the transaction closing. Why? Because a couple of years down the road, which is the cases that we're running into, and they've been resolved now, but a couple of years down the road, you're trying to get a new mortgage, and all of a sudden the title company comes back and says, well, you have a $250,000 outstanding mortgage on this other house. And you say, well, we sold that house. We paid it off. Well, proved to us because it was never recorded.
Wow.
And it's still showing as an outstanding balance on your credit report. So to avoid issues like that, you need to stay on top of it as the person who's paying that off. 99.9% of the time, the title company sends it to you. But sometimes, when you're dealing with big banks, huge national banks, sometimes it falls through the cracks.
Right.
And they don't record it properly. It's sitting in a file somewhere, but it's up to you to make sure that you get that back so that you don't run into a problem down the road.
And you said something very important, that sometimes after a couple of years it shows up in your credit report. You should be checking your report frequently, right?
Most people today are with these online credit report
right.
services. They are, but you got to understand that sometimes it doesn't show up on those reports. There's like 5 or 6 different type of credit reports, and only the real high-end ones that capture all information, and also lien searches that the title companies run. Sometimes it shows up there, even though it didn't show up on your credit report.
Awesome. Good to know, folks. A lot of good info there. You know, Mario, when I saw this on our email exchange today about the topic of the show, I'm like, what are you talking about? Bars on windows and FHA loans. What's up with bars, man? You have to have bars in the windows.
So here in South Florida, we have various communities and various homeowners that actually like decorative bars, you know, on their front door, on their windows. They put them all around the house, some for decorative, some for safety reasons. Well, bars are good and all of that, but when you're dealing with an FHA loan, whether it's a regular FHA, a 203K, or even a reverse mortgage, the bars that are located in the bedrooms need to have access latches so that in case of a fire, the people can get out through the bedrooms.
An emergency.
Right. So this week I visited yesterday. Actually, it was yesterday. I visited a client in Liberty City that I'm doing a reverse mortgage for. And I said, can I take a look around the house? Because as I approached the house, I see that there were bars in the front of the house.
Right.
So we went into the bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms did not have an escape latch. The other one had an escape latch, but it had a lock, and he couldn't find the key.
But that's not a hatch.
That's not a hatch. That's a problem. So he's going to have the lock removed and replace it with one that he can have a key to open. And then we recommended one of 2 options for the other window. One is to have a handyman that he knows come in and remove it, and just permanently remove it. Or he can contract someone that we have been doing business with for many years out in Medley. This guy comes out, removes the entire bars from the windows, takes that to his warehouse in Medley, opens up the legal size that you need for these situations, puts a spring into the latch, paints it, gives it a new coat of paint, brings it back to the house, and reinstalls it for anywhere between $150 and $200, depending on the size of the window.
That's a good idea.
So with this client that I met with yesterday, that's the option he's going to go. And next week when I go back to sign the loan package, and he's done several things that I've asked him to do, we're going to go back there and get him hooked up with this guy that can help him.
So you need to have these emergency latches in all the windows with how many bedrooms you have. Is that correct?
Only the bedroom windows.
Only the bedroom window.
Need the escape latches.
And the escape latches, and you need to have it a proper size. I mean, there's
a legal size.
There's a guideline.
There's a guideline that has to be followed, and usually the people that do those type of bars for windows, they know what the guidelines
So
are.
anybody watching out there that just went over to grab their hacksaw and their welding equipment, no, stop. You can't put a hacksaw to it, and you can't do it yourself. You got to do it the proper way. Otherwise, it's not going to pass the inspection.
It has to be a certain size.
A certain size.
Of the opening, so somebody can
put down those hacksaws, everybody. Mario, common names, IRS liens. This is interesting.
This is something that happens frequently here in South Florida because we have so many Hispanic similar names.
Very large Hispanic
Take
population.
the names like Garcia, Rodriguez, Hernandez,
Hey, you talking about me?
Gonzalez. You have a common name. So I'm not going to mention the name that we had the issue with.
No.
But we're getting ready to close on a private transaction close to $400,000. And let's just take one of the names. Let's say it was Jose Garcia.
Jose Rodriguez.
Right.
Rodriguez.
And in this case, it was Jose M. Garcia.
Okay.
Okay. All of a sudden, a couple of days ago, we get these IRS liens for Jose M. Garcia. Okay. And Laura, my assistant, almost fell off the chair. She goes, "This guy doesn't know he had these IRS liens." I said, "Look, I don't think he has IRS liens, but
Right.
let me double check."
Sure.
So I sent it to him, and he said, "No, it's the wrong middle initial. It's not my date of birth, and it's not my Social Security."
Right.
So we got that cleared, but sometimes it could be a pretty frightening thing.
Right.
If I call you up and I said, "Did you know you had $250,000 of IRS liens?" And in this case, it was actually the guy's brother,
Wow.
and it's his business partner.
Wow.
So he was able to identify because the addresses were kind of matching
Right.
up, and the only thing
and
that
the
didn't
age,
match up
yeah.
was the middle initial, the birthday, and the social, but the address and the business name were matching. So in this case, we were able to identify that it was his brother, and we were able to get over that turbulence, and we should be closing on that loan tomorrow.
And he wasn't aware that the brother was in trouble with the IRS.
He kind of was and wasn't.
Yeah, like for
but
example, the brother didn't actually share that information.
if he didn't know, he knows now.
Turbulences. Well, we did do a broadcast and you talked about turbulences. In fact, I think I recall there's 88 turbulences that you have dealt with in the past and you have experience with. If you guys want to know about those, if you're in the process of looking for a home or about to buy a home or you want to avoid those 88 turbulences, get in contact with Mario before you take another step and he will help you sort through that nightmare. We're just covering 4 or 5 that happened in a couple of weeks, but 88 turbulences. By the way, if you want to see that broadcast, it's on marioshomenews.com as well, so you can go there and check it out. Mario, the next topic is the lender is sold in the middle of the transaction. Is that even legal?
That's a new one that we've experienced. So
Wait,
that could
it's
be
going to
number
be 89. 89 turbulences coming to you soon.
So we recently funded a reverse mortgage,
Okay.
and with a reverse mortgage, it's kind of like a refinance. So from the day that the person signs to the day that the loan funds, there's a 3-day waiting period
Okay.
for the lender to do their final checks and balances, their quality control, and all of that stuff. And in this case, yesterday, when the loan was going to fund, we find out that some of the documents had the wrong lender name, which were actually produced by the lender.
By the lender.
And we questioned what is wrong. They said, well, during the course of this process, we sold the company, or the company was sold.
Wow.
And this is the name that we need to use for this now. So they were very cooperative. They made the changes pretty quickly. We didn't even have to get the borrower involved. They made all the changes internally. They sent us the new paperwork that was required, and the loan funded yesterday afternoon. But that's why I tell everyone that, listen, until the money is in the bank,
Right.
until that money clears your account.
It has cleared.
It
yeah.
has cleared, and you see that balance in your bank statement, then we're done. But up to that point, anything's possible, and yesterday was a perfect example.
Wow. And you thought you were going to have an easy month.
Yes.
And you
it's
thought that this month was going to be easy peasy. You're going to close and sell all these deals, and here you go.
No.
Turbulences awake.
No, I'm looking forward to vacation at the end of this year.
Well, you can't go on vacation. What are all these people going to do that are buying a house?
We'll do a show from where I'm going on vacation.
So, Mario, this is a time of the year where everybody gets gifts, and they buy gifts for themselves, and boats and airplanes and, of course, automobiles are very, very important. What's the problem with leasing or buying a car? If I'm in the process of buying a home, I deserve a brand new car.
Well, leasing a car or buying a
Yeah, why
home
not?
is great, or buying a boat.
Right.
You just don't want to do that once we start the loan process, because the numbers that we are reflecting to the lender are the numbers that they are approving your loan by. And I got to tell you, I have this conversation with all my clients from the very beginning. I tell them, listen, from this day on, do not secure any new credit. Don't go shopping. Try to wait until we close, and then you could go buy whatever you want. And recently we had a situation like that. It's like the second or third one we've had this year, where we got the conditional approval with some conditions, and then the borrower went out and leased a $500-something car.
Wow.
And then that came back as a rejected loan after it was already accepted. So we navigated that turbulence, and fortunately they were able to pay off some other debts to offset that new debt, okay, so that we would able to close, and we were able to close that loan and that transaction, which was a first-time buyer,
Right.
okay, that now has a new home with a new car in the garage.
Sometimes it works out, right?
Yeah,
But you don't want to alter that mix, that recipe that you present.
I got to tell you, it was a nerve-wracking time. Thank God we were able to resolve that, and she got some help from a family member, and we were able to get it done.
Wow. Turbulences galore. So, folks, MariosHomeNews.com, full of resources, full of information. All the videos that we produced are there. More to come. Mario was very impressed last week with two of the individuals that you do business with. Total pros. Very impressed with the inspector that you used. He didn't miss anything in that property. He was going, folks, if I may, he was going with this space-looking device, looked like a probe with two needles in it. It looks something like from the future. And I asked him, what are you doing poking that thing up in the roof? And he's like, this measures the moisture content. And I'm able to determine whether there's any leaks, there's any water in the roof, in the walls, without having to break anything. I'm like, this guy's a pro. This guy is high tech.
Yeah.
High tech. And
They have to be.
And that thing would beep and it would not beep, and he was able to identify leaks that they had. I imagine that most homeowners don't get that. Most homeowners don't get that level of inspection or service to be sure that their investment is going to be a good investment.
The inspection, that level of inspection is highly recommended to all our clients. And, an inspection like that is, maybe $400, $450. And it's strictly for the knowledge of the home buyer.
Right. It's an insurance policy for him.
And sometimes we have buyers that say, nah, don't bother. It looks pretty good. I don't want to spend the $450.
Huge mistake.
I tell them, I said, listen, this is a big investment. You need to check this out and make sure that you're, what you're buying, what you're buying. And I'd say 95% of our clients move forward with that level of inspection. But, you have a small percentage that, I sometimes tell them, I said, look, you don't want to be, penny wise and dollar foolish.
I was extremely impressed with him, and the individual that came in to check for the termites. I mean, walking in through the door, he looked at the ground, he touched the gravel or the sand that was there, and bam, 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 he identified the type of termite, and then his crew, brought in a crew with full gear. They went up into the attic. I mean, very impressed, man. Very, very impressed. You're really a professional, and I'm confident that any potential home buyer out there, if you decide to deal with Mario and do business with Mario, he will do his best to protect your investment and be sure you're getting the best deal, and just to be sure that everything is on the level, because that was the first time that I was in the field with you, and I was really impressed. So
thank you.
Congratulations on there.
Thank you. And I just want to mention last week we celebrated our 16th anniversary
Nice.
of being in business, and we're going to go celebrate in the next week or two after things slow down a little bit.
He's going on vacation, folks.
We're going to hold down the celebration for a couple of weeks, but I just want to thank everyone that's worked with us, our friends, family, our clients, for not just one-time business, but multiple
Absolutely.
times that have used our service, and we couldn't be here 16 years if it wasn't for our clients and our referral partners,
It's
our family, friends.
it's in your model by referral only, right? I mean, it's in your model to do that. So, speaking about celebrations, if I may, next week, as you know, we're having our holiday party and our trustee event for the Greater Kendall Business Association. For those of you that know and those that you don't, we belong to the Greater Kendall Business Association here in the South Florida community. I am going to be the president, the chairman coming in 2019 next year. Going to have my hands full, but I am honored to have Mario Quintero on the board with us. He was elected to be on the board of directors last month, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's going to be a pleasure working with you and having you on the board as we guide the Greater Kendall Business Association forward. And we want to invite everybody watching, if you're a business owner, to join us, to get in contact with us. And if you're available next Wednesday, we're going to throw it out there. We're having our holiday party at Bahama Breeze on Kendall Drive. Bahama Breeze on Kendall Drive and 122nd, you know where that is. And if you're a member of our association, you can come in. It's going to cost you $15, but you're going to get 2 drinks, food, fun, and a great time. You're going to get to meet all of our trustees. You're going to get to meet all of our friends. If you're a non-member, it's $25, just a little bit more, but still, the 2 drinks, the food, the friendship, and you'll be able to meet me personally. You'll be able to meet Mr. Mario Quintero, meet all of our trustees, and meet all of our members for the association. And it's a good way for you to start off the beginning of the year 2019 in your business, to connect and build relationships in the community.
And if you're a business owner in the Kendall area that I have a relationship with, you're going to be getting a phone call soon from me with an application that's going to follow via email so that you could come join the Greater Kendall Business Association. I see some of the people that have watched today, Dr. Aceval, Eddie from Florida Pool Leaks, and
How's it going, Eddie?
Marino's Pizza.
Marino, absolutely.
So we're going to be reaching out to you guys so that you become members of the Greater Kendall Business Association.
And for next year, what we do here, he doesn't know it yet, but he's been in training. What we do here, broadcasting, we want to bring that to all of our members in the Business Association. We want to bring that to all of you professionals out there, business owners. This one-stop shop happy hour that we've been doing from Audio has been a great success. And I love doing it, he loves doing it, but you know what? We want to share, and we want to bring this out to all of the members of the GKBA. Let's get you live streaming, let's get your content out there, let's tell a story. It's about storytelling, and most of you that have watched Mario, if you haven't known him before, just looking at his videos, you get a very good idea of who he is. Because after all, he comes to you every week, right? So that's what storytelling does. So if you're watching this video, this live broadcast, or you're watching this replay and say, I know that guy Mario, I know that guy Andy, I see him everywhere. That could be the same for you. Get in contact with me, get in contact with Mario, get in contact with our association, and let's make 2019 a fantastic year.
Great deal. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for the love. Talk to you guys soon. Bye now.